conspiracy theories. Ready?
I guess so.
Alright, the first one we're going to talk about is the Paul McCartney.
Oh yeah, I heard about that one.
Supposedly, they say that he died and got replaced by a lookalike in 1966.
There's even pictures to prove it.
But they say that, like, supposedly, if you look at one of their, what's that picture? That each one of them's got no shoes, one of them's got shoes on. Each one of them's supposed to be, like, one's supposed to be the grave digger, one's supposed to be the
one
dead
where they're
person.
walking across the road?
That
famous photo where they're walking across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got the famous one, well, Elvis Presley faked his death.
Because Elvis is still walking around among us.
He'd be super old.
God, he would be.
And supposedly Adolf Hitler survived, didn't actually kill himself.
You didn't introduce us this time.
Oh yeah, this is Tommy, of course. No, just Teresa.
This is the amazing Queen Teresa.
Oh jeez. How about another one? Alright, how about the death of Princess Diana?
I've heard that was a conspiracy.
My conspiracy is the Queen got mad and had her head.
That bitch.
Although I really like the Queen Elizabeth, but I think that she got mad because she was trying to get out of, she was, supposedly the man she was dating was, for one, he wasn't part of the royalty, and for two, he was a Muslim or something.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was leaving her son.
I mean, wasn't Prince, what's it, Charles?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he divorcing her?
Yeah, to be with
So it
Camilla.
wasn't her divorcing him, it was him divorcing her.
I think that she was leaving him though first. But.
Well, he's an asshole.
Yeah. Well, he was cheating on her the whole time with Camilla.
Like I said, he's an asshole.
Now we're gonna get into more like government conspiracies.
Ooh, that's a big topic.
Let's see, like black helicopters. I guess people have been seeing a lot of like weird black helicopters.
Yeah.
And, like chemtrails.
Like it's supposed to mean something.
Yeah. Like maybe they're going around, whatever, there's like, is it like with the Men in Black?
It's the Men in Black helicopters?
Yes. Chemtrails I know is a big one. People are worried that, like the chemtrails you see behind the airplanes, like it's supposed to be like
that
poisoning people and causing different diseases and stuff.
Maybe it's causing memory loss, and then they're changing things.
Is that going into the conspiracy of our Mandela effect?
I think so.
I still think we're in a parallel universe.
So do I.
Then you got the Korean airline flight 007.
Oh yeah. I think I heard about that. What's this here?
Let's see here. That the destruction of Korean Airlines Flight 007 by Soviet jets in 1983 has a long drawn the interest of conspiracy theories. The theories range from allegations of a planned espionage mission to a U.S. government cover-up to the consumption of passengers' remains by giant crabs. Giant crabs.
I heard that it was a U.S. conspiracy theory, like, the government was like, we have to stop them.
Right. I know that Malaysia Airlines, so that's a more recent one. That happened like right before I was about to fly the first time. And I was like, oh, I've never been on an airplane.
This is why I've never been on an airplane, people. I'm terrified of all the shit that happens.
But, like, they've never even found pieces of it. Although they started finding pieces of it recently, I think. But, like, the fact that, how do you lose an airplane?
You don't. It's a cover-up.
Like, I wonder, though, like, if they were hijacked. I don't know, some people say that, I think it was China hijacked them or something. Come on, load up.
Load up.
Technical difficulties.
My phone's an idiot.
Well then. Babe, I'm gonna throw your phone out the window.
Can I? Let's just get me a new phone.
How about the Avril Lavigne she killed herself and became somebody else after she changed to pop.
She looks like the same person.
Supposedly,
like,
her clone is Melissa. I can't remember her last name. Melissa something.
She looks identical.
I know. Supposedly, because everybody, I know, like, all movie stars and stuff, they have their own, like, double. That way they, in case they don't want to go to...
But there are identifying factors that usually you can tell. Like, oh, well, this person's nose is different from that one, or blah, blah, blah. But...
like, people change... Taylor Swift changed her songs. Like, everybody, they grow up and they change their method of their songs.
Right, and then there's also what's called plastic surgery, people. Yeah, she might not look completely the same, but she may have had some work done that maybe she didn't want anybody to know about.
But, she started out at, like, what, 15?
I think she was 14 when she first became famous.
Yeah.
And then, as she started to grow, her face thinned out.
Yeah.
Her voice got changed a little bit, It just happens.
Here's another random one. As we were watching Toy Story 3, supposedly the bear represents Hitler, because he goes through and, like, the little boy gets rid of his toys, and he goes through and they put him in a box and ship him to, like, a daycare, which then they get kind of destroyed and tortured, and then they, at the end, they put him in an incinerator. Well, like, supposedly, like, he's supposed to be Hitler, like, it gets him into this incinerator.
It does act a little bit like Hitler.
Creepy.
Then we haven't seen the whole movie either.
No.
We've just
That's
watched
just when we saw it at the doctor's office. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that conspiracy theory.
A little weird.
I have a bunch of pictures out here that I sent her earlier at the doctor's office.
Him.
Sorry.
Him.
Supposedly Coca-Cola changed their formula to a new Coke, which was inferior product. They're promoting the reintroduction of the original one later, because I don't know how that's on the conspiracy theorist.
I've heard stories that they'll take a recipe that works really well and they'll change it to something shitty. And they'll bring back the original and make a bunch of money off.
They were getting upset because everybody prefers Pepsi. Myself.
Not everybody prefers Pepsi.
And they were trying to taste more like Pepsi because they liked Pepsi better.
I don't know. I'm not really a fan of either one. I prefer Dr. Pepper.
Denver Airport, which I've been there.
I've never been there.
You've got that creepy horse in the front that literally looks like... I would pull it up, but...
It's from the Broncos.
But he literally... Like, the person that made the statue fell over and actually killed him. Supposedly, yeah. And if you go there at night, which I've been there at night to fly out, their eyes glow. Like, it glows of blue. The name is Sapphire, I believe the name of the horse is. And supposedly, like, it's been haunted. It's like evil. And then supposedly the airport itself, there's a bunch of, which I've seen the paintings, there's a bunch of, like, end of the world paintings. Like, there's some weird paintings, like people in, like, gas masks and stuff and everything. You guys can look it up, but, like, there's just different really creepy, like, end of the world type things. And supposedly there's an underground, which some people say is just for the package, like for your luggage to go through, but they don't use it anymore. But there's some people think that they're using it for either a bunker or some type of...
Actually heard about that underground thing. People are creeped out when they try to walk through there. The lights flicker on and off, and sometimes they'll just shut off completely, and you have to use your phone as a flashlight.
Yeah, it is a creepy little...
I'm just like, I am never walking down there.
I've spent a couple hours there.
I'm not afraid of much. Definitely afraid of dark places I don't know.
We got the Freemasons, of course.
Oh.
Over here we got the Oddfellows, which is another, like, old... We also have a Masonic temple here.
Yeah.
Downtown.
Yeah.
Walla Walla. I think there's...
You just told them where we live.
So... But, you know, I think the Freemasons, though, they have a lot to do with our government. Because it is kind of weird how...
You kidding me? They run the government.
Exactly. Like, even George Bush and everybody's been, like, supposedly a part of
If you look
the
at all the
Freemasons.
people that were, like, when presidents were running for presidency, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at all the people that contribute to the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to go back through their history, they are part of the Masons.
Mm-hmm. They all are.
They all are. It's this big, long history of people going, well, I want the government to be on my side, so I'm going to give all this money to the people I want to win. And it's all the Masons that have all this money. It's a huge thing.
And then it's like the Antichrist, of course.
Oh, Lord. What about...
I don't know if we should go into religion, but...
Tommy doesn't believe in God.
I'm wicked myself, but the Bible itself, I think it's kind of a conspiracy theory itself. Like, it's been misinterpreted and miswritten and
Well, it's also been...
It was written by humans.
Not just that, it's stories. It's not... It wasn't written by God. Like, everybody says, oh, well, you know, God wrote through this person. No. It was somebody writing a story, and they said God wrote it.
Well, just like, you know, we have stories. Harry Potter, which I've been reading.
J.K. Rowling could be God.
Yeah, but, you know, like, it's all... And also, they didn't understand death. They didn't understand why the sun rose, you know. They didn't understand illness. And so that was their way of coping, to understand what happens when we die, and to, you know. And there might have been a Jesus that went through and was teaching his own beliefs, you know, but he might have just been
a magician.
Yeah, he might have, you know, floated on water because he decided to walk on stones, you know.
It may have been that he, like, I've heard theories that with the leper, he had somebody painted up to look like a leper, and then he dipped him in the fountain, and that's how they're no longer a leper, you know? Like, we don't know what happened back then. We don't know the full truth, and we don't know that these stories actually happened.
And I personally believe there is something that's helped us along. Like, I don't know if it's aliens or something, which is another conspiracy, that God is actually an alien that has come down to the ancient people and taught them things, and, you know, that gets into the ancient alien theory. But it kind of makes sense because you see a lot of, like things painted on walls and stuff that don't make sense. Like, how did they know what a light bulb looked like? You know, how did they know what different... Like, there's even one of a helmet, a person with a helmet, you know, like, as if they went into space. So, like, maybe... Even we got the time travel theory, too. Maybe they went back into time, you know, and influenced, you know, this is how we're going to push you along.
Another conspiracy theory, but that is how Trump became president. Somebody went back and changed something.
And that's where we get the
Mandela
Mandela effect.
With him.
That's where we get the Mandela effect. The Illuminati.
Oh, that's just the same thing as the
Freemasons,
really.
basically, yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like, oh, well, there's an ancient order of people that are trying to...
Which there is always more to the earth and in the world than what we see. It's like the afterlife, everything. There's more than what we have been seeing. And me as a CNA, like, which I've talked to about you guys before, but I've seen ghosts, I've seen things of the afterlife. Like, there's more than what, especially narrow-minded people can see.
Yeah.
False flag operations, which is supposed to be what happened with 9/11. Like, I guess in JFK there was supposed to be a similar attack to promote another war. I think it was even with Afghanistan that they gave him an idea, the government gave him an idea, we'll do this so we can start this war here that was almost exactly like the 9/11 conspiracy. Which then you got the 9/11 conspiracy in general. I personally think that there was more. I think we either had more of a warning and they just let it happen or something.
Yeah. Yeah, there was warning signs, or so people say. There were warning signs that this is going to happen, and then the government just went, I don't think so.
Or they thought, oh, that's a good excuse to start a war. We're just going to let it happen.
Let's just ignore it.
How about the school shootings like Sandia? People are saying they're not real.
People are saying that the children were actors, that the parents were actors, that there's video and photo proof of people that were supposedly killed in Sandy Hook that are still walking around.
Yeah.
Like, you can look it up. There are so many websites that are like, this picture and this picture. See, this kid looks exactly like this kid, and this kid is an actor. So what if this is all fake? And I don't know. It's hard to be like, well, we don't know for sure. You know?
Yeah. Let's see here.
It's weird how much the actors look just like the kids that supposedly died in Sandy. So. And there's also a conspiracy theory that was an exercise just to see what people would do.
Yeah,
after the shooting.
I know they've done run-throughs where they pretend to have a shooting. And then,
right, and then it ended up on the news because somebody fucking saw it, and then they had to play it out. You know?
So they got artificial diseases like HIV and stuff, but I know I heard a theory where HIV was created in the lab to get rid of people that are of LGBT community.
Yeah.
I also know like hepatitis and stuff was created in the African American. No, I think it was, or was it syphilis? No, it was hepatitis.
Yeah.
Like they would, let's see what this disease does, and then like spread it.
The problem is that it ended up spreading to other people that they didn't want to get it. It's like, fuck, we didn't, you know.
Well, just like HIV is not just a gay disease, like.
Well, see, that's the thing. If it started out as a way to kill off gay people, it ended up being more of an epidemic or a pandemic, whatever that word is.
I think that a lot of it
ended up being too much of the straight people.
Yeah, they wanted to get the unsavory out, like the prostitutes and the
right, but it didn't work
people.
Because it ended up spreading to everybody and not just the people they wanted to get rid of.
And then you got the vaccinations cause. Vaccinations do not cause autism.
Autism is something that's in your blood when you're made, when you're born.
Would you rather have your kids die of the measles or have the chance of them having autism? Come on now. I don't care.
But the thing is that autism is in your genetic code.
Yeah, it does nothing
change.
to do with it.
You can't change that. Adding, what are those called again?
Vaccines.
Adding vaccines into your blood after the genetic code has already been made isn't going to make any difference.
It doesn't cause autism. It was literally a paper that somebody wrote that was no scientific background or anything nothing that even, the person was stupid.
Yeah. And there's been studies recently that showed this person's, they tested the, fetus before it was born. Okay, this one has autism. And then didn't vaccinate them. And they still fucking had autism.
If anything, you're making it to where people are going to have worse bugs and get sick faster. And
it's just a scare tactic, I think.
Yeah, we're going to start having more illnesses.
All those things like the plague that went away, mostly, are going to come back full force because of it.
Just not good. Stupid thing went black on me.
Racist.
It's racist. Let's see here. There's a few of them that I didn't do. Because I didn't want to. Global warming, which Trump thinks is a conspiracy theory. But I think Trump is a conspiracy theory.
Global warming could have been prevented if we had started taking care of it when it first started being noticed. Like when the scientists first started going, hey, this is happening.
Yeah.
If we had done stuff, it would have changed that. So yeah, I think it's a conspiracy theory because the government was like, no, it's not real.
So supposedly places are causing earthquakes like Katrina and stuff. Causing national disasters. It's HAARP, HAARP, supposedly as a weather and earthquake control project that is causing earthquakes and stuff to happen.
Most of the earthquakes in the southern states is because of fracking.
Yeah.
If you don't know what fracking is, it's drilling on the groundwater that brings up all these poisons and things. and it's not good. And that's what's causing the earthquakes. Fracking.
Oh, your phone is being mean to me.
My phone's an idiot. It's old and it's horrible.
Definitely gonna have to get you a new phone.
It's also broken.
MK Ultra is
What's
one.
MK Ultra?
It is kind of like when you see Stranger Things, where she's being mind controlled, and it's actually, they've actually admitted that there is an MK Ultra. They have tried to make it to where they can control people's minds, and like even with brainwashing with their TV back in the 60s and stuff, they would go
Subliminal
through
advertising.
and do subliminal messaging. Well, you gotta love the Flat Earth Society. Got pictures in space that show that Earth is round, but then you gotta get into the whole we've never been in space theory.
Oh, shit. Okay, let's say we've never been to space. Let's say all these pictures of Earth are fake, okay? If the Earth was flat, at some point, we would have fallen off of it. I mean, what happens? We get to the edge of the Earth and it goes like this, and then
go around. We just go around.
It's like a square, right? We go like this.
Think about, we've got airplanes. There's an actual website, people, a Facebook page of the Flat Earth Society.
And the whole space thing. Come on. We've watched people go in rockets to space. Like, you can actually watch, with a telescope, them go onto the moon. It has happened, people. If it hadn't happened, then we wouldn't be able to videotape them going to the moon. Like, that's not...
Yeah.
I mean, even if the first one may have been faked. Let's say that was faked, whatever. But since then, we've had ways of watching the rocket actually go to the moon. So it's not all fake.
And then they've got the whole false history. Some people still deny the Holocaust and stuff like that. There's pictures, I've seen video, very graphic videos of our
There's
military
people who
men.
have lived through it.
I've taken care of people that have had the number from the Auschwitz. Like,
There are videos of people who have been
look
talking
online
about it and been emotional. Like, I was 10 years old during this shit. You can't forget that kind of thing. You
And
can't
like-
make this shit up. Especially not as a 10-year-old. That's not something you can make up.
And like I said, I've seen the videos of when the military went in and, you know, cleaned out the people. They wore skin and bones. And you saw dead bodies and everything. It was rotten and nasty. Like, there's no way that people just, like, made that shit up.
You can actually, like, there's videos of people going into Auschwitz and places like Auschwitz. And you can have, they've tested bodily fluids on the beds, there's blood, there's bodily fluids in the gas chambers, there's
scratches.
brains and shit on the ground. Like, this is not something you can make up.
And there's literally scratches on the
Gas
walls.
chamber doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of people. It's awful.
Incinerators. They had incinerators there too, where they would just be like, we're gonna watch people die.
Yeah. How about JFK assassination?
That's...
Although I have pictures. I have actually been to Dallas, Texas, and went to the JFK. I should probably, maybe I'll add the pictures to this video. But you can actually, it is kind of suspicious because it marks exactly where he got shot. And I've seen the videos dozens of times, and it really does look as though he got shot from the front.
Yes.
Because his head goes back like this.
If he had been shot from the side like they claim, his head would have gone to the side.
But his head shoots back, and then his wife grabs him. You know, imagine if you
Slow
put
that shit
Jackie.
down. That couldn't be faked.
No,
You
and
can't
so-
fake that.
And you know, and that's where the grassy knoll is. It is in the front there.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'll have to find the pictures from when I went to
Was it
Dallas.
a hotel that he was...
No, it was a textbook depository. He made
Oh, okay. Well, I
put
just knew
boxes
there
in,
was
yeah.
a place off to the side where they said he got shot
Yeah,
from.
there is a textbook
Like
depository.
a video or whatever. And
Yeah.
there was so much security around there, there's no way that anybody could have gotten in there. It had to be somewhere out in the open where people could get to.
Yeah.
And not be noticed. And I'm sorry, his head went back.
Yeah, you can literally
There's proof.
went back. If it would, because of the projectile, the bullet gave enough
As
impact
it hits the
that
skin,
it hit up
goes
here.
back.
And you can see the autopsy pictures too. It was in the front. It was not.
Even
in the
Jackie
side.
has said his head went back. There's no way he was shot from over there. His head went back.
Mm-hmm.
So.
How about Area 51?
Area 51. I'm not sure if aliens are real.
I think they are. In Oregon, you see a lot of weird lights in the sky, and they act really weird.
Granted, but let me put it to you this way. Some people believe that aliens are real. Aliens came from outer space, blah, 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 blah. I personally think that maybe we came from the future, and we're running tests to see what we can get people to believe.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like people from the future were like, I wonder if this is going to change anything. If we just send some people back and, try out our invisibility crap back there.
Yeah.
Rather than...
Like I said before, though, I think, I wonder if the aliens would come down and help us out a little bit or something. I personally believe in aliens, but...
I haven't seen any proof.
Yeah.
And the problem is that there is no actual proof. It's too easy to fake that kind of stuff now. There's no actual proof that aliens exist. It could be, just something that was made in Hollywood, for all we know.
Yeah.
So.
Or how about Bigfoot? I'm from Washington, Oregon.
I'm sorry.
By the mountains. I believe in Bigfoot.
I believe in Bigfoot, but okay. I'm sorry. If getting a grainy picture is proof, I'm sorry. It's not proof. You should be able to. I mean, people put cameras out there in the woods for hunting. You would be able to see him more clearly.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. Like, if he's real, which I believe he is real, he's not walking around the woods.
Okay, my theory is that there is another realm where all the mythical creatures live, the cryptoids, like fairies and everything else, and ghosts. I think that is another.
Unicorns.
I think there is another realm that we get snippets of.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's certain people like myself that are sensitive to that other realm. You just get snippets of these other, or like Slender Man. You get little snippets of these other creatures. Snippets.